Test, test, test. Bum, 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 ba, bum, bum, ba, bum. Let's see here. All right. Whew. So hot. Oh my gosh. Did I change this one? I did. Good. Good, good, good. This is a system. Server sys.go. Oh, we need to do music. That's right. I was thinking, like, what am I missing? Bow, ba, bow, bum, ba, bum. Open Spotify wants to enter picture in picture automatically, so you can use it on top of tabs in Windows. Don't allow. Do, 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 do. What's up, Jen? How's it going? I'm just gonna throw this down here. Prestige. Do, do, do. Let's do a build. Leaderboard statue system. We can move this over as well. We'll just check out the Halloween Nexus and Arena. Looks sick. Thank you, man. Yeah. It's kind of what we did last year, but I think it's pretty fun. It's a good like learning thing for it's a good learning boss mechanism. Okay, let's see. You're back? Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Death? Drop dungeon. Okay, that's good. Let's look at factory. Game has a bunch. We'll look at this too. Yeah, the Halloween update's pretty good. I like the arena mode. I think it's a good way to learn bosses. It's also nice because now I have a way to do wave-based dungeons as well once I added it. Also, Redis needs to move probably too. Let's try to move this. This feels like something that should go in game. Monster type. I think this is what I'll move probably. Find nearest quest target system. I'll move, and then generate new player quest. I'll move. What do I want to call it though? Krogboss? Krogboss. Oh, Grug. Yeah. The one tricky part with it is like some of the arenas are bigger than the Halloween arena. Main quest generator. I guess that's okay. Yeah, I'll do that. What's up, Michael? How you been, buddy? How's your Halloween? Mine was also good. Went to my cousin's Halloween party. I got back yesterday night. We watched the Florida-Georgia game and the World Series and stuff. So it was a good Halloween. I'm just doing a little bit of refactoring. I think I've decided that interfaces are like a trap. Went to this Pittsburgh for a Steelers game the week before Halloween. Is a good time. Oh, nice. You went to do the actual game? That's epic. I've never been to a pro football game before. I'm actually not a big sports person. But I'll watch the big stuff. This is all fine. Loaded from game server, yeah, okay. We build this. Interfaces are a trap. I feel like all of my code ends up doing this. That's what I've been thinking about all morning as I'm refactoring. I have like when you do an interface, you have your data and you have your function, and those get put into the same package. So then if like the data rarely depends on anything else other than data, but the function oftentimes will depend on other functions, if that makes sense. So if you have like this in a package, and then you, let's see. Then you have it depend on some type. in this other package. Where am I going with this diagram? Like this function might depend on this data, but then because this function depends on like this data, now this can't, like, it's really easy for this to cause a cycle through some other chain of dependencies that can lead you into like a dependency cycle. So what I've been thinking about it recently is I'll do all of my data in one package. And then I want my functions to be in a different one. Because functions only ever depend on data. And data can sometimes depend on other data. So the data can do its own cycle. You can do cyclical data in the same package. As long as the functions that run on the data is outside of it. So then you can put like you can put like small little like helpers. But for like for really like systemic type things, I like putting my I'm liking putting my functions more further away, like inside of some package that it depends on, if that makes sense. So you're like a Java guy, so you know this, but interfaces are really only useful if you've got multiple types satisfying the same set of functions. Yeah. I totally get the use case in some cases. But in Go, it's been annoying me a lot that I can't do like an enumeration type data and have my functions over here, because as soon as I make an interface inside of my data, where like I want to do like a handler or something. Let's say I want to do a handler. This needs to have some interface. So now the data handler interface depends on some interface definition. It needs to know about that. And the interface definition probably needs to get passed in like stuff about like knowledge about the world. Like for example, let's say you run to a trigger collider and you want to like take damage or something like that. So now you need this function. And I have like a common query layer for my game, and I put it in this data type called a game. Pointer to a game. Sorry, my cat's doing something. So now the interface definition needs to have some like handler function that looks probably like this, with maybe some other values that get passed in. But now this depends on game, but the game is like the thing that like let's say this is the game package. Like this depends on all of the data. Like this needs to know about every single type of data because it holds a bunch of like cached queries for a lot of things, right? So now I have this cycle where like these all need to be in the same package now because the interface knows about the game knows about all the data types, if that makes sense. So I'm liking putting the game over here. And the thing about interfaces though, like in my head, it's like this would be so nice if instead of having to implement the handler function inside of here, I could just have my different type of data and as an enum, and then implement the handler code over here. But interfaces definitely have use cases, I think, but like just how I end up having to use them in place of where I want to use an enum is really painful. Yeah, like I need more than just an integer. I can't do Go enums. Because very often my handler needs some extra pieces of data to be passed into it, and I need to do some data switch on those. So then like one solution to this sort of problem though, this loop here, is now the handler doesn't depend on game. The handler has some interface layer that it receives. So this interface is Doesn't depend on the game that has all of the queries cached. It depends on something with just functions. But like just the number of functions that I need to pass through this interface is just disgustingly large. Yeah, they just want you to use type switches though, which is really kind of annoying in Go. I understand they solve similar problems, but they really solve them in completely different ways. But I'm slowly reorganizing my data to be like this. I have my data. I have a layer which is like queries and like big game functions. Like, for example, maybe like find the nearest monster with this category or something like that. Like I need some layer that can accomplish complicated things, and I don't want those to be super broken up. Like I just want to call like game dot get me this whatever in an efficient way. And then I have a system layer. And these run every single tick, and they use the game. They also depend on the data, right? But they might call query layer functions, like look up a spatial hash map to like find nearby objects and things like that. And they also depend on data. The problem is when you need some sort of like polymorphic thing inside of your data, like the one that's I'm encountering a lot right now is my behaviors, my AI behaviors, because the behaviors are interfaces, so they depend on this game object. So I have this loop that gets caused here. And it's kind of painful. So like it would be so nice if I could just do polymorphic data as like a tagged union or something, and then implement all of my AI code like over here, if that makes sense. So it's whatever though, I'll just suffer. All right, let's make this a commit. The other nice thing about this is like what's this, a lot of this stems from is compile times, where like currently all of this stuff is was in one big package like this. Like this was one gigantic package. And then I have all of my config stuff. This is like my config package, depends on all of these things. So I'm trying to break it up more so that the config stuff only depends on this data layer. So it could only depend on one little section, and then all of this stuff would not, like changing things in here are the more frequent changes where you rewrite a system or add systems and stuff like that. And the compile times will just be faster if the config only depends on data rather than depending on a bunch of functions it doesn't need to know about. Also, I found there's like a bug in Mutter, which is the compositor for GNOME. And whenever I switch back to my workspace, the tab key or whatever key I do Windows tab or super key tab to switch workspaces like this. Whenever I come back, the tab key gets just mashed. It's been really frustrating. They haven't fixed it yet, I guess. In GNOME 49.1 or something. That's where the bug came in. So I'm suffering in a lot of ways. Let's look at the Redis stuff. This is all database stuff that the query layer, because we're in the query layer right now, this stuff isn't really needed too much. I want to pull the Redis stuff to be like over here. Really, it's like database stuff. So. I've been liking the AI mode in Google. I guess it's Gemini. Oh, never mind. I changed my mind. do. Maybe like a package called like persist or something. I guess I have this thing called Redis. What's in here? Oh, this is just for that. Okay. Let me just look at these functions. Also, one thing I do have to make sure of is that none of these subcomponents depend on the server package, which is my query package. Otherwise, that'll cause a loop. Like putting all my data together is so nice. It doesn't necessarily have to be together. But like it makes it very clear when you want to split one, like you have a bunch of data. Let's say you have a bunch of data. And it's like, well, these ones are all like in one category. I can just move those to a different package because there's no like interconnectedness between between these data and like these data over here. So like I can just easily move data over and it's like everything just works still. Like I'm just like really liking this idea. Redis house storage. Oh, this is just like the serialized version. I might just call it persist. Persist, like persist dot. This might not go in there necessarily, but this is all just like data setup, I guess. I guess I could just put it in Redis. It's just like very, it is very Redis themed, I guess. My database layer, I kind of do want it to be a interface though. Here's the cat. Let's see here. I like this. I like this package. This package should be inside of package though, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. Boom, boom. Why are there all these tabs? Did I just do that? How did that happen? Oh, it's probably that freaking bug. Mashing my tab key. I might do it, yeah, server persist, I think I'm gonna call it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it'll be my persistence layer on the server. This will be for whenever I want to persist things. I'm gonna copy this whole thing over, I think. Here it is. Where do I want to put this? I might put this into my time. I think I have like a time package. Package. I think I have util. I have some time stuff in here. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in here. Yeah, the only difference, I think I'm just gonna rely on this though. I think it's good enough. This is gonna cause a big rebuild. I could also put it in persist, because one idea is that this is something that's in Postgres. But it's either like I either use NTP or I use something like NTP that comes out of a database. I could do an API call to get it. But I don't really want to get an API call every. I would call it like probably I'd poll it probably like once or whenever. Then I have to store it in my query later though. I guess I could pass this stuff in. I don't know. It's not too big of a deal right now. That's why adding open PvP to Mythfall. The game's not really made for being a PvP game, if that makes sense. Like it's not. I didn't really design in that with any of that in mind, so the networking wouldn't support it really. If I did PvP, it would be on like a very it'd be like in an arena sort of deal. It wouldn't be an open PvP. All right, let's see here. Let's just flip through these and see what we have. Yeah, we're just gonna have to go through and just do one by one. We can always change the package name if we want to. Oops. Oh, this needs to go in base. I think it's in server right now. Actually, yeah. Huh. Of course, I go to the wrong one. I go to the one I just typed. Moderator type. All right, where's the definition for this? It's in spawner, I guess. I'm gonna go to base. I'm gonna put it over here. Oh. What's up, Dozy? How's it going? How's your Halloween? Thank you, Serious Teleport, for the follow. Appreciate it, man. Welcome. Persist. Oh, this is called actually base dot. Cheers, buddy. Welcome, welcome. Mm-hmm. Let's look at this function. I guess it's reasonable to put like starter character setups here. I don't really see a reason to put it anywhere else. What's up, Kino? How's it going? I'll just throw it in my database layer, because when I create a new account, I just call like create new account or something like that. And so this will just have the definition for it. It's a little weird to put the configuration of this in the code, but it's not that big of a deal. Because I kind of know where it is, I guess. All right, we'll do that. Sorry, I'm trying to be quiet. Let's scrape the remnants of my oatmeal out of this cup. All right, that was it. Holy build. There's no reason this should work though, so I'm surprised it's gone so far. There we go. A server, what is this in? Server read? Oh, this is in the proxy, okay. Actually, I don't want to put this here. I'm gonna move this. This should be a. This needs to be a server only concept. This is in, what am I in? Game server, yeah. Persist. What is this? Oh, this is the join server handler. So when the player joins, we need to read from the database to read their account info. What's up, Doro? I'm amazed you're awake right now. All right, something didn't work. Tail client log. I've had coffee, so that's why. Gosh, poor guy. So I'm just looking through my logs. Unknown type. Quest.actioner. Little fragile human being. What's up, man? How's it going? The proxy has this. Well, let me move this first and then we'll... I'm trying to think of where to put this. I might put it in persist actually. Yeah, we'll do that. I like it. I'm gonna delete this too. No, I'll leave it. I thought it was 10 since you're streaming Eastern. Yeah, I usually do stream at 10, but I was a little late today. Wait, hold on. Am I in persist? Yeah. We don't have to call ourselves. I want to look at a quest actioner. Like, I'm trying to think of what would be... Like, what would be getting deserialized? Start asset pipeline. Unless it doesn't depend on server anymore. The proxy code. Mob proxy server. Oh yeah, it doesn't depend on server anymore. Dun, 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 dun. Which is actually okay because all of the components should get loaded separately. Towers is a little late. I think I'm getting how make sense of time now. Was this after the server refactor you did? Yeah, that's what I'm working on still. Yes, you guys want to see my schizophrenic diagram here. I'm trying to move it. Let me control Z. Well, now we're moving data out of it. But I'm kind of trying to divide it into 3 sections. So we'll have one section is all of the data stuff. One section is like a query layer, which is the server package. And then one section is the systems that run on it. And the dependency tree kind of goes down this way. Systems depend on the query functions and helper functions. And any like global data that exists. And then data obviously is like the baseline components that everything depends on. I think this is a good way to unravel the dependencies that I have, so. That's what I'm doing. And my compositor has a bug, so whenever I switch back and forth, the tab key just keeps going. So if there's any rage today, that's probably why. I'm using Mutter. It's some gnome bug. Mutter is the gnome compositor. It's some gnome bug in the latest release. All right. I think I can fix this though. I just have to do. My guy, please downgrade. I guess I could downgrade gnome to 48. This is what I get for upgrading. I don't know. I've never downgraded it before, honestly, so I'm not sure. You have to downgrade everything though, because Arch is a rolling release where everything comes out together. Like they expect the versions to match. Like to all agree. So I can't just, I mean, I guess you can just downgrade one package, but I'm worried that's not going to be very stable, so I don't know. But I did waste like an hour and a half this morning looking into this. Man doesn't time shift. No, I just reinstall everything. trying to think of why. Let's go to the quest package. Wait, how is this in here? A server. I want to go com quest. Wait, yeah, who implements this? This is what I get. Unknown type. Oh, it's probably deserializing an asset file and it doesn't have this loaded. That's probably why. So I'm just looking at my error messages over here though, for ease of viewing. Let's do this. We'll go to the proxy. I'm just gonna add like a link here. You have to manually register things to, so you know the types to deserialize them if there's any polymorphic data in your config files. Surely a patch will be up for 6 from, it's been up, I think the bug's been there for like a month. So I wouldn't count on it. I was having this issue before I left for this weekend. Yeah, that fixed it. So if you guys have any recommended desktop environments that are like GNOME but actually work, let me know. Lay them on me. Okay, well that fixed this. Moved the Redis stuff out at least, which is nice. Let's go to server. This file's empty now. We can delete it. Mint cinnamon maybe. I need to look for where quest gets registered. But is it a quest that's registering? That's just the interface. So it's whatever implements that. Which I would put where? Probably in server somewhere. Loader. I used to use cinnamon actually. I want something that's like super just like this. Like I want this feature. I want workspaces that I can toggle between. I want windows. So maybe some trunks. What are you doing, buddy? Trunks. Neri. Scrollable tiling Wayland compositor. What does that mean? What does scrolling mean? This seems kind of nice. It does seem kind of annoying though. I don't know if I don't think I like that. I want to super tab and go to another workspace, and then I want to alt tab between Windows and that one. I just want like 2 layers of alt tabbing. But I don't want to touch my mouse to switch windows. Right, like I just want to like alt tab and then like hop around and be like, oh, there's this, and then I go to that, and then I do this, and then I go here. If I need to click, I'll click, but Surely. Surely. Is it really not in here? All right, Mog is dependent. So there's something imported from server. Okay, this says import quest.tracker, which has the interface. We should find who implements this. Can I do that? Is there a way to look? I guess I can do that, can't I? We'll just look for a task, which is also in the same thing. Flash. Oh, this is in VFX. Do. Cosmic desktop, but it's closer to GNOME. System 76. Is that framework? Is that who makes framework? Is this framework or is this a different company? Holy price tag. This must be different. Ooh, servers. Oh, it's all contact sales. Lame. Mini. Ooh, I love small computers. There are other peeps, yeah. Pop OS, that's the... Is that the one that they use or something? What'd you call it? Cosmic desktop? Oh, it's written in Rust. I don't think I want the bottom bar anymore. I'm kind of over that these days. It's not bad, honestly. Do. Bum 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 bum. Desktop environment. Interesting. That's their Linux distro. What's Pop OS? Is that a different distro? Oh, Pop OS is their distro, and then does it ship with their Cosmic desktop environment or something? No. Oh, it's closer to GNOME. Yeah, it sucks because I've been pretty happy with GNOME, except for this one issue that I'm running into now. I wonder if this is all I need. What's in here? Okay, let's go to proxy. Like, it's just this init function needs to run. No, it's still the issue. Okay. Like, I don't really want this dependency necessarily, but I need it. There's some init function that's falling through. Let's do this. We need to do regex. There's just too many. How can I organize this so that it would always work? I think I have two types of things that need to be registered. It either has to be registered for the server or it needs to be registered for the client. Because there's some data that doesn't go to the client and some data that doesn't go to the server. Because originally I was thinking, oh, I'll just throw the registers in each individual thing, but I think I'm just gonna have one big global register system. Let's just flip through these. Oh, these ones probably aren't loading either. These are actually probably the ones that are missing. I wonder if I can just do this. Quest. Hold on. I don't know if it's going to cause a cycle though. Hopefully this fixes the missing register though. I probably want to do this for all of them though. We moved these ones though. We have common. This got moved. The store stuff. Let's move this one as well. Okay, good. This one, I'm not sure. We'll see. Bab. That's in Mog, which is almost imported by everything. Server comp. I can actually see this one be missing. All right. Let's see trunks for a bit. Little trunks cam. Yeah, I can't really think of where to put these though. Like I kind of want to just have one big register block and then one big server only register block. And then at the application layer, I can register whichever ones I want, maybe. I don't know. Oh, this is like that though? Yeah, so it should be succeeding then. Okay. Let's do com really quick. I'm just curious if that fixes it, because then it'll call directly into here. Okay, yeah, that did work. But we need to call this now, you know, like this needs to be registered. I kind of want to make these manual as well, but whatever. All right, we have our persist thing now. Let's just flip through this one because it was kind of a... I guess the only bad thing was the registration system, but that's going to be a part of the rework too, I think. DB code to persist package. Server, okay. Loader, reload mop handle system. I guess I can move this. Serversys.go. This is just the system that reloads monsters if I change their config file. Prestige. This is a game function. These are all these are kind of game functions as well. Room is kind of a complicated one. This is another place where I don't want an interface, but I kind of am stuck using an interface. Actually, I'm surprised that... Oh, because it goes through the egg. That's why the loot was dropping. Because there's a bug in the Halloween arena where if an egg spawns, like the scorpion... Here, I'll move this down. The cat's gone. The scorpion boss would spawn eggs, but that would then spawn, and then those would have loot in them. It's really just the Halloween arena that's in here, huh? Spawn room placement. I kind of want to move, like this is a function that creates an entity. I kind of want to put those into a single package. Spawner creation. I might call it server spawn or something like that. I might make a package called spawn. Because I have a bunch of these helper functions that are like spawn dungeon, spawn, whatever. Actually, no, I don't know if I can do that, can I? Because if this depends on game for something, then... Yeah, like what do I need from this? But if this is only used by systems, then as long as none of the spawning functions are called by game, but I think some of them are going to be. Like I'm just thinking of like this one obviously is fine because it just gets spawned from like rooms get spawned as a part of the world creation, or like a dungeon gets created, I spawn a bunch of rooms. But in here there's some that are like dungeon spawner. Oh, that's dungeon, that's a system. I guess that's not a good one. Here's one. Dungeon entrance 2. Who calls that? The dungeon spawner system does. So this would have to move to server sys. Dungeon return. Dungeon entrance. Yeah, like here's a game function that's for spawning a dungeon that calls a spawner function. Then that would need to spawn. That would need to pass itself into it. We'll backburner that one. I don't really know how to do it yet. All right, in the meantime, though. Factory. Do I want to move this? It's a pretty simple thing. Let's look at death. These are two just functions. Dropping things and... Oh, this is just finding players who are nearby when a monster dies. Try handle prestige. Let's just I'm just gonna flip through these and see what's a game function and what is not. Game function. Well, I'm looking for things that are systems. I need to move those out. Update dungeon rooms. I could move. It's a pretty simple one, but I think it's reasonable to move it out. Let's move this. I might need to move a lot of the room concepts, like interfaces and stuff, to a different package. All right, room, quest. Not a system. No systems in there. There's one in there. This one doesn't have any either. Spawner does though. Has this dungeon spawner system. Dungeon spawner. This is an awkward component because I think it has a function attached to it which takes game. It's like this is where it would be better if this was not a method. Then it'd be like game dot execute dungeon spawner or something like this. And then this can just be a regular component. Let's do that. Spawn result. This is just a helper. This is just a helper type, I think, for that one thing. So we'll do server comp. Oh no, actually I do need to pass this over. Okay. All right, this can no longer be, this will have to be a game. All right. Yeah, then we just need to do scomp dot dungeon spawner. Buddy, you get fed at 1:45. You ain't even close. You ain't even close. All right, this is our async dungeon spawning system. Does this help me actually? Yeah, because this isn't really a creation function so much as it's a... So I might still make that file. I'm just going to do it and then move stuff over there. And then if it ends up being a bust, I'll move them back. That's what I'm going to do. I basically want to make a server spawn. I'm going to call it. Maybe I call it sint sent sentity dot spawn, or it'd be spawn dot spawn. And this one's yeah, scomp dot oops. Yeah, this is backwards now because we moved the game is now where the function's held. Oops. Spawner. Oh, this needs to be a pointer. Or hold on. We'll look at the, we need to look at the diff really quickly. Hold on. It's going to be here. Async. Yeah, it was a pointer before, and now it's still a pointer. Good. I just want to make sure I wasn't changing the behavior of this at all. I'm just attaching the function to the query layer rather than to the component itself. I have this big problem where my behavior still depends on server. So whenever I change server, it changes behaviors, which rebuilds every single monster in the game. That's probably my biggest compile issue at this point. Sends dot sent dot sentity, or it's spawn. I think I'm gonna do spawn. Then I'll do spawn dot like dungeon entrance senti. That's like too, the problem with some combos is it's too like clever sounding. It sounds almost like too much like something. Wait, does game get passed here? No, it doesn't. Okay. Or this is spawner. What would we do? Dungeon entrance 2. Namespaces are hard, yeah. spawn secure spawn. SSS secure spawning server. Secure spawn on server. It's also hard because I need it to work for client as well. So like C spawn, S spawn, C spawn. The other tricky thing oftentimes I have is like there's common, which is also starts with a C. So if I make what I usually do is I'll do like com, or com will be just like the normal one. And then if I want a server specific version of something, I'll just throw an S in front of it. Otherwise I'll put a C in front of it. That's my rationalization at this point. But I really like this layout now that I'm kind of doing, where the data is completely pulled from the like querying layer of something. It just feels so much easier to decompose. Holy rebuild. This takes so long every single time. I don't have a solve for this part though, unfortunately. But as things get less coupled together, I think it'll just improve. One idea I had though, I was hoping that if I remove a lot of stuff out of server, then the server build would be so much faster, but I think it's just gonna be too much. So I really want my configs to only depend on data types. All right, seems to be working. All right, we'll do server, we'll do S spawn. I'll call it spawn.go. I'll move these ones. This is a game function, we can't move that. This will move. Hold on. This, and this. Boom, boom, boom. This stuff I might also move as well. We'll see though. Yeah, actually, I'm definitely gonna build this. This was a really old method I used to use for creating entities that were kind of complicated. Gizmo is something that would go in here as well. I'll just throw it at the bottom. Player entity. We have our loot bags, loot bag spawning functions. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what these notes are. These can just return a list of components instead of the body. No. Then most of Mog base factory can disappear. The server needs to send components over dynamic instead of wrapping them in a body object. Okay. I'll keep it kind of in the same order. spawn.dungeon entrance. spawn.loot-bag full. I don't like typing this very much. Make all these public. Dun, 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 dun. Obviously they're missing bundles still. So I'll have to move all the bundles over. I call this S spawn, right? Package S spawn, okay. It's kind of frustrating. It's not able to, the LSP is not able to do it for some reason. Because the bundle thing was broken, I don't know. And I'm congested recently. I might move all of these over. I don't think I use game at all. Yeah, I'm gonna move all of it. What was it called? Bundle. We can delete that file now, yeah. All right, dungeon entrance link. I'm gonna move these to server comp. Scomp. I should have just fixed it. This is kind of tricky. That's kind of a problem. Because both of these need to call the server version of this function. Like this is a function on the server. But this actually is a better fit for, where's Dungeon DB? I guess that's in server as well. Do I have any server only databases? Like, no, I don't. Like, I don't want to leak the server version, the server data associated to a dungeon into the client. Well, let's just see what we have here. Dun, 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 dun. I guess I could put it in here in Scomp. Bum, 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 bum. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to spawn, and for these ones I'm going to move them back. The dungeon spawner stuff, I'm gonna move it back for now. This should get deleted. Oh, it's not scomp, it's spawn dot. It's a little annoying. But I'd rather work all the kinks out, and then if I want to move these, I can move them in the future. It's all because of what? Oh, getting the dungeon config. I guess that kind of makes sense. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I guess we'll figure out where to put those. I kind of want to think about how I'm going to do the behavior one now. I was hoping the speed would improve of my compiles from doing what I just did, but it doesn't seem like it helped all that much. The main problem with the behavior thing is that the interfaces depend on game. So either I have the interfaces depend on an interface, or I do a type switch to run the interfaces rather than like a function. No, scomp. I kind of feel like the no. This thing is so... All right. Hold on, we'll just do a big replace. Luna, no. Hold on a second. She didn't do it. She comes to my wire bag and everything gets all disconnected. My wire box, sorry. Hold on, we'll do this. Spawn. All right. Dude. I'd escape right as it opened and it closed it. All right. let's take a look at this change altogether. Yeah, obviously we moved a lot of stuff over. I think I'm generally fine with that. I think I'd prefer these to be a little bit more data driven rather than like these functions I call, but this is fine, I guess. Until I get it all ironed out. Okay. Let's do the behavior thing. Like it's mostly these functions need to be changed. It also sucks because it's nice to throw some stuff internally and then not make it public. But then I can't do my type switch idea. All right, no, I can still. It's just that these are going to be public now. Let's see. It is also very nice to just run like an execute function. But one downside to this approach where you have these interfaces, I feel like it ends up, when the code is very far from each other and they're pretty similar, you end up writing these like very different, like you end up not building helper functions as much. Let's go look at the bot. What's in bot state? Nothing. Okay, let's look in bot context then. We have game. This is the only thing that I need to worry about. So anything that calls this would need to get broken into an interface. Okay. Let's just make a list of everything. I'll just put it up here, sure, or I'll put it right there or something. I don't know. Bot move query, chunk loader. Like I need ways to get at these things. Pause query. There's another chunk loader. Bot move query. Parent query. Room query. Child query. Tick. I mean, world in general, yeah. The thing is that world can get me all of these things. So I could just pass world and not use, no, because I want access to helper functions mostly. I also need access to spatial query. Did I do health query? Yeah, health query. Target query. Count children. Get spatial point map. Bot minion query. Find nearest enemy. Pause query. Chunk loader. Count children. Random spawn position in radius. Mob factory. Or need the factory, I guess. Did I do count children? Kill children. It's just a lot. Like it sucks to make an interface with all of this stuff. Granted, a lot of these things are just queries, but still. Do, 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 do. Minion query, bot move, chunk loader, health query, bot move, pause, nearest enemy. That, count kill, commands, which is at world. Factory, we have those, kill children, spawn child. Pause bot. I mean, I guess I could pull all the queries out to some internal thing and then just have the helper functions accessible. Pause bot move, chunk loader. Because I just think the you taunt query. I think if I do it with the type switch way, it's just gonna be really painful. We need to set and status or all the. Let's put all queries together. Count children, minion query. All right. We have resources. We have a bunch of queries. We have a bunch of functions. Factory is kind of a resource. Set status map. These are functions. Okay. This is a query. All right, let's keep going. Set body. Health query, target query. I think I did target query, yeah. Count sibling bosses. Okay. These are all the functions we need. The only downside is whenever I add a function, I guess it's not that hard to break these into an interface. So the interface would basically be this. And then I would just cache these queries as I want them for doing like mob AI related stuff. It would just be a bunch of pointers basically. I'm just thinking. Then these would have to be interfaces. I mean, it's doable for sure. Let's give it a shot. I'll do game. So I'm just thinking of how I want to do this. If I want, these will be this. And I'm gonna do one that's called query. It just sucks because I want, I almost want to embed it in there, which I guess I can, couldn't I? And I think I can call them directly, which is kind of nice. Okay. factory. I'm trying to think though. Hold on. What do I use factory for? Is it just mob factory? I'm just gonna do mob factory then. I don't know where I put this. All right, let's go look. Game. Mob factory. Okay. I guess I could rename that to just be mob.factory. Oh, we have the server query. We all have the resources. Then we need to add all of these in. Because this is going to be changed to this, basically. Query. This is like our query layer. We'll do that and we'll do these. Parent query. A room query is right there. Nice. Child query. This is a different query layer. Oh, this is a mob dot. Okay. I guess I could pass. I'm gonna put this down here because this is a mog. Because I could store mog.game pretty easily. Okay. We have minion query, font query, parent query. Already have that one. Status. Okay. Which I actually don't know if I need health query. Oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, I guess I use this one. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we have a bunch of queries now. I'm gonna build in a setup function for this query layer. So we'll do, I'm gonna copy it from this because I kind of have a pattern for how I do these. Now I do an initialize function, which sets everything up. I'm gonna go ahead and just do this. Oh, can I do that? So I'm just trying to think here of how I'm going to pass this in. This implements a specific I'll just manually build it, I guess, which is fine. Or I set this later. Let's get the interface built first. Find nearest. I really don't like this too much, but I don't really have a better solution. Random spawn position in radius. What's up, Vegas Eagle? How's it going? It's either this, or I could also make each of these like an event system sort of thing. So instead of calling a function, I trigger an event, which then would execute the function. So that would decouple it as well. Spawn child, set status. It might be actually in this one. Actually, to make this game mob.game. Can I just embed this? No, I'll do that. Okay. Want to see something I've been working on? It's a bit early in the year for it, but sure. I'll take a look. Server game. All right, so the status effect ones are executed that way. We'll do I guess we'll just set these dynamically. It's such an awkward thing to do though. I need to build a macro for this. But I need to figure out how I'm gonna do it. I think the macro is basically this. I'll go here, start macro, ret dot, go to the next, equals ECS dot get injectable to world, comma, space, kill the line, go to the start, tab, mark, go 1, then go 2, copy, go to the end, paste, parenthesis, next line. Oh, hold on. Okay. That does that for those. We'll do it for the spatial query as well. I guess I need to do it for all of these. Tick would come from game. I think game has tick. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Send it to me. All right. Oh, nice. Oh, I kind of like the little elf hat. This would be a pet, I guess. These ones we have, I think, right? Ooh, Rudolph, I like that. That's kind of cool. Nice, some reskins. Oh, this looks pretty cool. I think this would look better if just like the tops were, it was like less, not all snow, I guess. I do like the snow patches though. We could definitely do this in town, I think. I could maybe do snow patches. It's hard to do snow tiles for every biome though, but I also like the frozen water. That's pretty good. Looks good. I like it. Yeah, send me the sprite file. Send me the sprite file. This is a pointer. Do. All right, I'll take a look. This would have to take a mog.game. Well, hold on. This can run in enemy map. This can run, I would move this to probably I was thinking of only having the snow in the hub because it would be too hard to cover everything. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could maybe do like a decal or some like sort of patch of snow. It's just hard when you change the tile to be white because then you just change every tile to be white and then there's no longer any like biome identity. I'm just gonna throw this here. Boom, boom, boom. I remember being really disappointed last year that the ground in the hub had no snow. Oh no. I let you down. It'll never happen again. Yeah, what's up with this? Context.game. Oh, context.query.game. Wait, what? Context? Oh, game.game. Oh wait, hold on. Factory. Give me 1 second. Don't give your Florida winters in Mythfall, give us a white Christmas. Yeah, that's true. I've never seen snow before, so I don't even know what it looks like. I can't draw something I've never seen. That's where my cats are gonna knock over my router or do something. Oh, we need bot query as well. This will just be this though. Let me go to AI game. We'll do the server game bot query. There it is. We're just missing that one. All right, buddy. Thanks for topping in. I'll see ya. I'm not 100% sure all of these are going to get injected. Spatial query will, because it's got the implementation of the function. I need to look for mob factory and chunk loader though. And this is all in server. Game server. Or actually, it might even be in game for here. Hold on. in the function. Let's see. Factory and I'm surprised I don't do this. Am I doing core? Mob game. This wouldn't have mob factory though. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we'll make these resources then, I guess. We'll do what is it? It's like ECS dot. What? Let me just look through here really quickly and see if I do this anywhere. I guess I do it here. Oh, I put chunk loader there. Okay, so chunk loader's already put. I think mob factory I don't do though. And this one we just added. Cool. All right, then in here, dun, 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 dun. We have this guy. These ones are all already looked up, and these ones are already looked up. The only two that need to be added dynamically are these two. I could make this a function, but I don't think I'm gonna actually. I'm just gonna make a function called like refresh or something. Or no, actually, yeah, no, it would be refresh. I mean, it's really only gonna get called from one place. It's just nice to have the function attached, because it's going to be in server sys.go. Yeah, I'm setting all of this stuff. So I'll just leave it here, I guess. Yeah, we set the game. We also want to set the server query, which is just this one. I'm not really sure how to embed this, honestly. Bot context. Oh, it's .game. All right, let's see if that works. Attempt to serialize unregistered type. This is probably because server no longer depends on dialogue or something like that. So in the server.go, I'm just going to import that com. Oh no, I do this here, don't I? No, this is happening in main.go for assets, actually. I think I actually just need this. Yeah, this is now server sys. We moved this system over. All right, hold on. There's an error. All right, server panicked, bot state machine system. Oh, I never set this value up, probably. All right, let's look. We build the bot context, new bot context. We want to get the, we want to get this. Hold on. No, we want to get the, I think I see what I need to do. I think I need to do ECS.get injectable. Because context is getting set. Yeah, I think I see what I needed to do. We'll do game.world. And this is a pointer. All right, so for FSM query, we'll do FSM query dot game dot server query equals game. Oh, there's actually just this. So these two get moved out. Then we'll do context dot game is FSM query, like that. Followed for the editor. Stayed for the, oh, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the follow too. Appreciate that, man. Welcome. Yeah, we struggle. We struggle through some problems, but eventually we land on our feet. Do 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 do. But at least this is building, so there's not like any terrible build problems that we're gonna have. I just have to make sure everything's instantiated correctly. I think it's working. Let's go see if AI kind of works. Looks like it's doing its thing. Everything seems pretty solid. I think I should go to a boss, or just go look at a boss. I just want to see him like go through a few phases, I think. Okay, cool. You got through one phase. So the AI is kind of working. I want to change, because my goal was to separate this dependency. So I'm going to go add a fake line here, save, and then rebuild. And hopefully all of our assets don't have to rebuild. Yeah, assets happen immediately. Perfect. Yay. Our build times. Do 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 do. Ba-dum bum ba-dum bum. All right, nice. Well, this is a big improvement. The interface is a little wonky, but it's just all of the functions that are needed by the finance state machine. So it is what it is, I guess. Cool. I do want to look into this though. That's still an open item for my refactor. This moved. All that's okay. And we put this resource in to make sure it was there. We run this separately. Now this is the new function. We rebuild, we like reset up the query because there's a few fields we want to set every frame. It's really, we don't have to set them every frame though, do we? We could just do this here. There's just like a few custom things that need to happen. The server query needs to get set to server.game. And then this is the interface, and this is the mog.game. Pretty common functions we want to have access to. Okay. Context.game. Yeah, and this we have to set every frame because this is the individual bot context for each AI agent needs to have access to this data. This probably only needs to get set once, but and same with this one. This one gets set every frame. Okay. Let me just rebuild because we did change this thing. I just want to make sure, like, we changed how this got called, just in case I'm missing something. Just in case. But at least now our behaviors don't depend on the server. It depends on its own little interface. Love to see some good Go code. Thank you, buddy. I'm glad you think it's good. Sometimes I do some questionable things. But they're always done with the purest of intentions, I swear. Especially after coding 5,000 lines of code in Java in the past league. Oh, you poor guy. I too was once a Java programmer. But I learned. All right, let's go check. Let's check just a boss. Let's just get through the fight. All right, phase 2. Phase 3. All right, phase 4. All right, cool. Let's just look at a few regular AIs. Okay. Decent. Yeah, this one I'm not. This one I don't love, but it is working. I guess I'll have to fix it in a different patch. Not patch, I mean like a different commit. Remove dependency of where BEH depended on log server. All right, cool. All right, let's look at our. Yeah, so now This no longer is the case. This one still depends. There's like one file, but it's not that big, so this one's not a big deal. That I can still do. Assets, auto, shouldn't depend on client server mog, needs to depend on super. Yeah, event handlers are the last one. We don't need that package yet. Is this project on GitHub? I want to check out the code if it's open. Some of my packages are open source. You can go here and find my open source packages. The game isn't open source though. Like the full game isn't open source, but my rendering library is, my networking library is, my ECS library is, a lot of my stuff is. And so I have some like common game components as well. So. All right, let's see here. We also have the plugin thing that needs to happen. That's a part of a larger like client reorg, I think. Let's go look at the event handler stuff. Like server's not there, client's not there. Mog is still there. But it's just for these ones. Let me, before I do this though, I just want to like double check one thing. Mog BH, not that. I want to go to mog server. Wait, mog? Oh, mog server BH. Okay. Yeah, so this is not a dependency anymore. But we do depend on mog. For what though? Hold on. Mog dot game. Yeah, let's break up this dependency. Is it just the chunk loader? Heal, mog dot, network time step. This should be in base. How is it not in base actually? I'm so all right, we'll do that. Did I use this anywhere? Hold on, let's just fix these really quickly. Get rid of that. Divider. I want to get rid of the divider as well. It's silly because I'm doing this and then we'll just do one at a time. All right, network time step. Base, base, base. These are just old constants I used to have. I'm just gonna delete them all. Did I do this? Oh, mog. All right, we have one more. Yeah, just mog.game. Perfect. So we just need to look for where this gets used. We need to have a tick function, and we need to have a commands spatial query. We have. Looking nice to see seeing programming streams. That sort of look the same when I program. Not the typical make Amazon in 20 minutes portfolio project videos that exploded after COVID. Good programming content gets hard to find after you're not a beginner anymore. Yeah, that is true. I think there's just you get a lot more views if you make like beginner stuff, like beginner focused stuff, because it's more accessible, right? So I'll make like a really complicated video about like some thing that nobody really cares about, but except for like maybe a few people. So I think it draws a lot of people to make more like beginner friendly stuff, which is just a really high level like opinionated things like, why is Rust better than Zig? Like here's the reasons, and it's like, all right, I get it, you know? Not that there's anything bad with that, just it's not like the sort of stuff that I like I don't really care to listen to someone's opinion about like programming languages. I guess I think what ends up happening is when you go to more advanced stuff, it's just like a very specific problem being solved. So it's not like, it's just not broadly accessible just because that like not that many people are looking for it. A lot of people look for like, is Zig faster than Rust, you know, but not a lot of people look for like, how do I don't know, render like text or something. All right, we mostly need to get the tick, and we need to get, oh, we have the status mask stuff too. Oh, I can't believe I left this through. That's disgusting. So we'll put this query into our query. Let me feed these cats because they're just gonna keep pestering me if I don't. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, at a certain point, it feels like what programming language you use stops mattering so much, and you start focusing on universal concepts. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely some like trade-offs with languages. Like some things are just better at solving certain types of problems. Like some languages are better at solving certain types of problems. I mean, but yeah, at the end of the day, like you can pretty much do anything in any language if you're willing to slog through some like poorly supported use cases. So I always tell people to pick the language you like programming in the most and just use that. Okay. All right, so we need to make this query. We'll just throw it at the bottom. We'll call it snake query. Like here's a case of a badly supported use case on Go. We're gonna do this. Or like I'm having to like manually instantiate all of these things. There's just like not an easy way to build an interface that handles this, and I can just like automatically loop through like struct fields and stuff. I think there is a way with reflection, but I don't really want to. Reflection is just so terrible. I'm always sad every time I use it. Okay, then we have context.game.snakeQuery. There we go. That should do that one. We need to go here. All right, we're removing these though. I see tick a lot of times. I see the commands a lot of times. I'm gonna make a function that just gives you the world. So we'll have to implement that. Yeah, and I also need one for tick too. But we do have a spatial query, so these ones we can actually get rid of. I actually think what I want to do here is instead of this, I want to do world like that, and the initialize we'll need to do that as well. So that's just getting passed in, because then all of these places I can just do context.game.world.cmd. This is all of my spawning code goes through this sort of path. Oops. We need these functions. Oh no, not that one. This one. This is no longer a thing though. Yeah, so we're just setting the the server game interface. Mostly use Go for algorithms and microservices, never made a real app with it. It would be interesting to see how it scales in complexity compared to OOP. Yeah, I mean, I tend to prefer oh, sorry. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I tend to prefer more like less like OOP styled things personally. I find OOP like overcomplicating things a lot of times. So boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we need these functions. Let's do those first, and then we'll do the tick function. We'll make a function that just returns like get tick or something like that. Okay, we need to do. Trying to think here. Let me look really quickly. Game mog set status mask. Oh, it's in status, I think. Really clear as well. Okay, we need those two. We need to pass these. We need to add these functions to the server version of game. Or game.go. I'll just throw them at the top actually, just because they're just pass-through functions. All right, set status mask, ID mask status, clear status mask. Okay. It's amazing our natural abstractions. Once the other abstractions start becoming arbitrary based on method access, it gets confusing as hell. Yeah, I'm starting to not like combining my. I think it's okay to build data structures that have data organized in some way and then have functions to push data in and pull data out of that data structure. I think that's a really good use case for methods. But almost every other time I use methods, I feel like it ends up just becoming like an organizational nightmare of like attaching a function to data. In some cases, it's really nice. For like really, really simple methods, I think it's totally fine to do methods. But like I very much now prefer like just it's not that I don't like methods, it's that I want like a global context with all of my methods, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like if I do something complicated, I don't really want it to be a method or something that touches multiple components or something. Then I just want a function that can kind of like do whatever it wants, if that makes sense. Tick.tick. Tick.global. .tick. I guess. All right. Let me be right back. Boom, boom, boom. Excuse me. I get what you mean. I don't like that everything I do in Java, even global helpers, has to have some identity attached to it. Yeah, I agree. I just feel like I end up with a bunch of dependency cycles when I attach methods to things. Because this is kind of what my refactor is all about. It's like right now I'm trying to move all of the data to the left because data depends on other data sometimes, but data never depends on functions. And I'm trying to move my like cached query type things and helper functions into its own like layer. So it's like data is the bottom, and then like I have helper functions, like complicated helper functions and like cached query things inside of one big context that I call the game. And then I have a layer on top of that which uses both of these things to run like even more complicated systems on top of that. So it's going to be my like new organization. We'll see how it does. I've only done it for the server so far, but you know. Wait, do I even need to do this tick? I might just set it every time. Yeah, let's just set it. And we'll go to, it's in server sys. Boom, boom. Game.tick. I think game.tick.tick. Okay. Now I can just do context.tick. Then this gets rid of that. Now we just have this as a function. I think this should work. I'm gonna change this game term to query though, I think. Boom, 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 boom. Like the things I'll have trouble with are like health depends on your stats, but then like maybe health has some way of modifying a stat. So like it just like ends up being a cycle. So I move the business logic of those things into a higher level package, and then the data can just depend on however it needs to depend. And usually the data doesn't depend on itself directly or depend on each other directly. Like I very rarely end up with structs depending on another struct, but I very often have functions depending on other functions. Not necessarily recursively, but just in cyclical ways. All right, let's rename this one from game to query. We'll have to rebuild everything, unfortunately, but I wonder the rename at the very end. All right, let's go just run into a dungeon. I just want to see a boss like go through one phase, just so I know the finite state machine's kind of working. Teleport, boss. All right, that's a good phase. We'll get through another one just to see. Cool. All right, I can do some stuff. That was kind of a large change. I want to go back here. Oops. What is this file called? I think it's called like MMO. Because I think a lot of this stuff I don't use anymore. Server min ID. Oh, this is errors because of that. Okay, that's fine. I use that stuff. This one I'll leave, I guess. This is some old like networking config stuff. Get scheduler. This is just a setup thing. This stuff should all get moved to base. This should go into dev. I guess I'll do that in a different change. Or, oh, I want to do one more check. Because the original purpose of this was to make sure that server.beh didn't depend on mog anymore. Mog. Good. The only thing I'm worried about is that there's some... I guess we can test this because we just built. So we'll change mog and then we'll rebuild and see if BEH has to rebuild. It does rebuild it. Dungeon room. Wonder if it's after this one. I guess I can look and see, couldn't I? Like it's probably just some like one of these packages depends on mog. Let's just go through them actually. We have oh wait, I don't lose that. I want to go to rotocom, roto action. This depends on mog. Mog dot edit house action. Yeah, so this stuff needs to get moved. This is more like interface implementation. Shoot. Actually, why would BEH depend on that? I guess I don't know that it does. I doubt it does, actually, now that I think about it. Scomp, would that depend on mog? Mog, server, scomp. Equipment action. do. Excuse me. Remove some more log dependencies inside of BEH. I get that unidirectional workflow is so nice when you're working. You need to access something you can access, and you gotta adapt or do some weird stuff. Yeah, and I've been falling into that trap a lot. And I haven't been like trying to rethink the problem. I've just been trying to like patch it together, which is really painful. How does your dev workflow look like? I'm in university right now doing CS while working a job in IT infra. I'll go like a month without coding, then all of a sudden have 70 hours to work in 1 week. I really like coding though. I'm tired of Microsoft 80 and Azure. Yeah. I do this full time, so yeah, I spend a lot of time coding, which is good. I enjoy it as well, so it's not like I see it as like a downside. Like I love doing it, so it's not hard to like work 8 hours plus every day on it for me. But there are times when I will get burnt out and I'll just be like, oh man, I can't, like, I'm just like staring at my screen, not doing anything. And if that ever happens, I stop working. It's just not worth it to sit there and do nothing. So what I do is I'll go through cycles as well. Not like 70 and then 0. It'll be more like really busy and then like I'll take 3 days off or something, you know? I'll rarely take like a full week off, though I probably have taken weeks off. For like vacations and stuff, I'll take the time off. I'll try to step away from it completely. But yeah, this is so This is the same exact thing. This is the same exact problem where I want to move all of these to some less dependent thing, but they implement an interface which depends on the main game query thing, which makes sense because they need to look stuff up and do work. So I might have to do a type switch here, actually. It is also silly because they're basically the same thing. They're just a different function. I do think interfaces are a trap, though, for a lot of things. Like, this is something where I want to just do a type switch. But I made it an interface because that's like the cleaner way to do it, because Go doesn't have very good enum support. What to do? Like, everything has this execute function that gets run on it. I think this is an interface. Oh, maybe I type switch here. I don't actually treat it like an interface. But this might be an interface. Hold on. That's fine. I can always wrap that separately. Like, these are just structs that I want to send over the network, but then I attach some logic to it, and now it gets really complicated. But really, I just want to send the struct over and then handle it on the other side, you know? Just silly. Do I really not undo this? I hate touching item movement things. It's always such nerve-wracking work. Game's going good. We were able to split up a lot of dependencies for the AI stuff, for like the mob AI stuff, I mean. I feel like I have to qualify when I say AI now that LLMs are a thing. Do, do, do. Boom, 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 boom. But like drop item, I must type switch on this, right? This is a prediction thing. Then here we handle it. We just call a function, yeah. This is effectively my type switch. I guess I did it this way because on the server, I need to handle these differently than when I predict them on the client. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change these to not be execute. They're just gonna be like execute then the name or something like that. I don't know. Must be nice to have a broad long-term project. If you're tired of working on code, you can do graphics or sound design. Yeah, that is true. It is very nice to like be tired of designing bosses and then like, oh, I want to work on my rendering library, or I want to go like do something else, or like fix bugs. Or today I didn't really want to think too hard, so I just wanted to refactor things. I had a long weekend, so I was like, you know what? We'll just refactor stuff. And I'm pretty happy with how it's all turned out, so. I could make a function that's just like execute common or something, I don't know. Like these are all just like item movement functions. And then I just have data, like this is the small amount of data that needs to go over the network. I think the change would be something like this, though. It would be like, let's do this one. I guess I can just do this, couldn't I? I'll do this, comment that. I feel like I just make it a game function. Game. Like that. And then here I do game. And I do entity and A. Did I copy the wrong one? Oh, I did equipment here though. This is the one that we wanted to do. Different name. Because we gotta set up shrink for an existing app. All is fun, very dry. Yeah, that does sound pretty dry. I might be weird for this, but refactoring is very fun and satisfying. Kind of like getting to see all the work I've done and consolidate it. I also think it's good to do every once in a while. Do a little refactor session. I gotta be one of the only devs that likes writing docs. I think you're right, yeah. Even I don't like doing that. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the job, I guess. It's important when you work in a team to write docs. On your own, though, I feel like it's not that important. Like, you can definitely overdo it. Man. This compositor issue is killing me. I'm trying to learn game dev. It's very hard. So much components. That is true. I must have like 200 components in my game. Bank action deposit. Inventory. Oh, this is it. Oops. All right, there we go. Now these are all separated. They're no longer interfaces. I'm actually surprised this doesn't break my... Actually, I'm not running my unit test, which is why it's not breaking it. That's fine, though. We can fix that. I need to go eat lunch, though. So this will be the end of the stream, everybody. But thank you all for stopping in. It was a good time. Got a good amount done, but yeah, I need to go eat. I'm starving. So, yeah. I will see you all next time. Have a good rest of your day. And yeah, see ya.